Welcome to the presentation. This presentation is intended for the students of semester 3 on general English. This is MD Jalil, Assistant Professor of English, Department of English, Tara Government College, Autonomous, Sangareddy. So, in our present presentation, we try to take unit number 2, and this presentation will be a continuation to the previous presentation of Toasted English 1. So, in the previous presentations, we started taking presentations on the different units that are present in the syllabus. As we know that the third semester syllabus, English, General English syllabus has been divided into 5 units. Among them, we are in unit number 2. The unit number 2 has been divided into 4 subsections. Among them, the first one is poem, Punishment in Kindergarten by Kamala Das. Second section is prose piece of writing, Toasted English, written by R.K. Narayan. Third one is vocabulary section, in which we have British and American English. And the fourth section is grammar, in which we have voice, active voice, passive voice in the sentence. So in our previous presentation, we have begun the prose piece of section, Toasted English. In the first presentation of Toasted English 1, we have completed 3 sections that are given in the syllabus. The first section is pre-reading activity, in which we saw some questions about the present lesson, which motivated us, inspired us towards the lesson. And in the second section, we saw the information related to the writer. Here is R.K. Narayan. And the third section is about the essay, about the lesson. So these 3 areas were discussed in detail in the previous presentation. To continue that presentation, in our current presentation, we take the next remaining parts of the sections that are given in the syllabus of Toasted English. So by just once revising very briefly, by having a glance at the completed sections of previous presentation, now we try to take the remaining parts of the presentation. Toasted English is a prose piece, is an essay, a part taken from an essay written by R.K. Narayan. So in this essay, R.K. Narayan is presenting about English language that has been toasted. Toasting is a process that is generally applicable to the slice of bread. A slice of bread can be toasted. What is the process of toasting? Toasting is nothing but placing the slice of bread under heat and continuing the process till the slice of bread gets brown color. Here, the process of toasting is applied to English language. So generally, toasting refers to modification, change of a bread piece. But here R.K. Narayan suggests this word to English language. So how English language has been toasted, modified, changed is discussed in the present piece of writing by R.K. Narayan. So here toasted English means English has been gone certain changes. What are they? And where the changes took place? We try to see in the lesson. This piece of writing, prose piece of writing, is written by R.K. Narayan, a familiar face in Indian English writings. He was born in 1906 and died in 2001. His full name is Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Ayar Narayan Swamy, is better known as R.K. Narayan, and he is considered as one of the finest writers in English in India. He was a prolific writer and nearly published more than 60 books in his long writing career of spanning over 60 years. In an average, he published a book in a year. And R.K. Narayan, for his credit, he published 15 novels. Apart from them, he published numerous short stories. He also wrote essays, and also he completed one his autobiography. Autobiography is the story of a person which is written by himself or herself. And interestingly, all of R.K. Narayan stories take place in an imaginary semi-urban town called Malgudi. And this Malgudi is a fictional, imaginary, semi-urban and South Indian town, culture predominantly South Indian. And he created that town Malgudi, and all his stories take place in the city of Malgudi. Coming to his writings, he wrote many novels, but the listed novels are some of the famous novels written by R.K. Narayan. Among them, the first one is Swamy and Friends. Second one is Mr. Sampath, The Financial Expert, The Manager of Malgudi, The Guide, The Vendor of Sweets. The Guide is a famous novel written by R.K. Narayan, later which was adopted as a film, as Devanand, its Devanand leading role. And coming, many of his books, novels, stories are adapted into films and television serials. And coming to the essay, Toasted English, it is taken from a collection of essays titled Reluctant Guru. This collection of essays, Reluctant Guru, was published in the year 1974. And basically, this essay recalls his impressions, his observations of America during his stint as a visiting professor at an American university in 1969. So in the year 1969, R.K. Narayan visited an American university. He was invited as a visiting professor there, and for a brief period, he was in America then. And during his stay in America, his observations are mirrored, depicted in the present essay, Toasted English. In the essay, R.K. Narayan notices that Americans have changed the English language according to their needs. And in that way, he presents in the essay how Americans have changed the language and how American English is different from that of its British English. So in this essay, R.K. Narayan presents very vividly how American English and British English differs with each other. By discussing these things, end of the essay, he comes to appeal Indians to form our own English. So there he leaves a message to Indians also that we can learn from the American experiment. So this is some basic information, introduction regarding to the essay. Now we try to continue, take the lesson itself, and the paragraphs that are given in the syllabus are presented here in the slides, and we try to see these paragraphs. This essay begins like this. So this is the text of the essay, and this is the beginning of the essay. First, I would like to read this paragraph once. After that, we try to understand the sentences presented by R.K. Narayan. In the American restaurants, they call for toasted English, referring to English muffins, which, though being made in America, now retain English as a sort of concession to their origin. The same may be said of their language too. In the American restaurants, because R.K. Narayan was there in America, he visited America in 1969. So when he, as a visiting professor to one of the American universities, and then he observed that the American people, when they go to restaurants, the Americans in restaurants, they call for, they order toasted English. So in the restaurants, when American people visit the restaurants, they order a certain type of food item which is named toasted English. They call that item as toasted English. When they are ordering toasted English, they are referring, actually their intention, to English muffins. Muffins are piece of bread which are in the shape of a cup. So when they are order toasted English, means they order English muffins, means English bread, a kind of breads, which though being made in America, actually these muffins are made in America. They have nothing to do with the British or their English. They are made in America, but now retain these pieces of bread. They retain, they are having the word English in their name as a sort of concession. Here concession means as a memory. They are retaining that name to their origin, because the birthplace of these muffins are England, Britain. But when America was separated from Britain, the muffins, they retained in America, and though they were made in America, they retained the name themselves as English muffins. The same may be said of their language too. So the same thing can be applied to their language, that is English too. So how muffins retained their name as English, toasted English, in the same way their language, English language, also retained the same way like English muffins. The next part of the lesson is, first I read this paragraph once and after that we try to understand the paragraph. Americans too went through a phase of throwing out the British but retaining their language and letting it flourish on American soil. The resultant language is somewhat different from its British counterpart. It may be said to have gone through a process of toasting. One noticeable result of this toasting is that much of the formalism surrounding the use of English has been abandoned. Americans too went through a phase of throwing out the British. So by studying, understanding the history, we know that Americans, the American people, they have gone through a phase in the history, a stage that of throwing out the British. So before their independence, the American country was ruled by the Britishers. But the Britishers later thrown by the Americans because the Americans wanted for independence and they fought with their masters, the colonial rule of British, and with the help of France, America got its independence and they threw out the British rule from their soil. Of course, they threw the Britishers out of their country and they got their independence, but they retained, the Americans retained. They did not lose, they have as it is their language. But the English language retained in America. Though the Britishers went off from their land, America, they left the language in America. And Americans, they letting it, and Americans also permitted the language. They did not deny the language. They permitted the language and they let it, and they also permitted to flourish an American soil. Flourish means develop, grow. So they not only let the language, but they also help to flourish, grow English language in American soil. So the result of this, the resultant language, so in this way, English retained in America, it stayed back in America, but the result of this retention somewhat different from its British counterpart. But there are some differences, but it is not retained as it left by the Britishers. There were some differences. So in that way, the American English stands different from that of the British counterpart. It may be said to have gone through a process of toasting. So we can say that the English language did not retain as it was left by the Britishers, but it undergone some change process. So this process can be called as toasting. How a piece of bread is toasted, by toasting it changes its form in the same way. American English also gone through the phase of toasting, and it also modified its form. And one noticeable result of this toasting is that much of the formalism, and we can notice by this toasting the change, the modification that it took in the form of English language. We can notice the result that this toasting process is that much of the formalism. Formalism means of the formal thing, the formal language, a language that is surrounded by the rules, which is spoken or written or understood in the framework of rules. Deviation is not accepted. This formalism surrounding the use of English. So this kind of formalism, the rule binding language that is present in British English has been abandoned. Abandoned means it has been ignored, it has been stopped. So Britishers are very much particular about the rules, grammar of their language, but whereas Americans try to change the language according to their convenience. So this is the process that took place in America. So till Britishers were there, the language functioned according to the rules of the language. But once when the Americans threw the Britishers out of their land, of course they retained their language, but they adopted some changes. They adopted some changes in the form of abandoning. So not retaining the formalism, means the rules binding language. They made it a flexible language, and they converted the language according to their conveniences, their needs. In that way, English has been changed. So to compare this, Arken Narayan used the word toasting. So English language has gone to the process of toasting, and it has changed in American soil. This is the beginning of paragraph number 2 in the lesson. First I read the paragraph, after that we try to see the sentences in detail. In America, they have freed the language from the stifling tyranny of the passive voice, where we would say ceremoniously trespassing prohibited. Their signboards, as I noticed in the parks of Berkeley, merrily say, newly planted, don't walk, or absolutely no parking, leaves no room for speculation, and no motorist need to spend too much time peering out and studying the notice in America. So in these lines, R.K. Narayan is presenting his observations in America. When he visited America, he observed these things in America. What are they? In America, they have freed the country of America, the American people have freed, have they gave independence, they gave liberty, they freed the language. Here the language is English. Freed the language from the stifling, means feeling oppressed, tyranny of the passive voice. Tyranny means a dictatorship, the dominance, who wants to dictate the terms of the passive voice. We know that English language consists of two voices, active voice and passive voice. Active voice are those sentences which give more importance to the subject. subject-oriented sentences. But passive voice is objective-oriented sentences, means the more prominence is given to the object. So English language is very much involved in using passive voice. So for the foreign learners, the foreign users of English language, they feel difficulty in using passive voice. But English people, the British people, they prefer to use more and more passive voice in their language. So first what the Americans did, the Americans, they granted the freedom, the liberty to the language from the tyranny of the passive voice. So they maximum try to abandon using passive voice in their language. So many a time they used active voice, because using active voice is very easy and very simple. The language, it makes very accessible, easy to understand. So they freed English language from the clutches of the tyranny of passive voice, where we would say ceremoniously, trespassing prohibited. We would means Britishers. Of course, we are also Indians under the influence of British English. We also say ceremoniously. Ceremoniously means politely. We say sometimes, some occasions, that trespassing prohibited. Trespassing means walking, going, entering without permission, prohibited, is not accepted. So this condition is presented in passive voice. That is, something is prohibited. What is prohibited? Trespassing prohibited. So to understand this word is a little bit difficult for foreign learners of the language, because first they have to know the meaning of the word trespassing, another difficult word prohibited, and using these two words in passive voice definitely makes difficulty in understanding the instruction. But the Americans, on their signboards, what R.K. Narayan observed in America while he was on the roads, the traveling, he observed on their signboards. Signboards means the boards which are used for instructions, suggestions, the signboards. As I noticed, I means here R.K. Narayan, he noticed, he observed in the parks. So he observed in the parks of Berkeley town in America, in the town of Berkeley, the parks of Berkeley, he observed, and just the signboard says, merely say, only the signboards, they say, newly planted, don't walk. So just the signboard tells us that newly planted. So in the park, the plants, seedlings are newly planted. So please don't walk. So it is very much clear to understand by everyone that some new plantation has been taken place there. So we should not walk there. But instead of writing these two simple sentences, if we write on the signboard, trespassing prohibited, it will be difficult to understand. So instead of writing trespassing prohibited, the Americans used very two simple expressions, newly planted, don't walk, or absolutely no parking. So some places where the parking is totally prohibited, where parking is not accepted, there they write on their own signboards, absolutely no parking. So by seeing this signboard, the people, the motorists, the vehicle people, the people who are traveling vehicles understand that this place is not intended for parking. There is no permission for parking. So immediately they try to go somewhere and to park their vehicles. So leaves no room for speculation. So this kind of instruction on the signboards it does not leave. So by reading that expression itself, immediately one can understand that this place is not intended for parking. So there is no scope for speculation. If instead of writing this instruction, if we write a difficult instruction on the signboard, it gives a kind of speculation for the people. By not understanding the instruction properly, they tend to park their vehicles. But here, by understanding this simple instruction, they know that this place is not for parking, and no motorist need to spend too much time. So by seeing the simple expression, absolutely no parking, immediately the motorist leaves that place and he tries to search for another place for parking. So no motorist needs spend too much time. So he does not stay for a longer time there, peering out and studying the notice. Sometimes what happens, we place a large notice book, a long notice book, notice board on the signboards. So it takes to study, and sometimes the letters are very small. So the people on the vehicle have to stop there and read them carefully and to understand the sentences. Instead of doing all this, making all this inconvenience to the motorist, uh, the Americans used a simple way by just writing one sentence, absolutely no talking. So that it gives the people to understand and live from that place. Next, in the next continuation of the lesson, just I read the paragraph, and after that we try to decipher the sentences. In a similar situation, our authorities are likely to plant a 20-line inscription on the landscape to say, under Municipal Act so and so, this area has been reserved, etc., etc. And any vehicle stationed thereon will be deemed to have contravened subsection so and so of the Motor Vehicle Act, etc., etc. I saw on many American office doors, just they say, do not enter. So in a similar situation of our authorities, if we take the similar, almost all same, this kind of situation with our authorities in with the Indian authorities, the officers, our government functioning, if we take this example, if we apply this example to our Indian authorities, our governance are likely to plant a 20-line inscriptions. So our authorities, if our authorities do not want people to trespass or walk in a particular uh, restricted area, our people also, they plant an inscription. They also place a notice board, a written notice board of 20 lines. Our notice boards usually have 20 lines, very detailed, on the landscape, on that newly planted area to say. The Americans we saw in the last slide, very simply they said that newly planted, don't walk. By seeing these two simple sentences, nobody stops there. But our authorities, our Indian authorities, our government people, we plant an inscription that runs for 20 lines. So on the landscape, and it says that very clearly, under Municipal Act so and so. So according to the Municipal Act, the municipal law, the municipal rule, this municipality rule, so and so particular rule, this area has been reserved. So this area in which you want to walk has been reserved. So it is not permitted. It has certain reservations, etc., etc. Some more things, unnecessary things, and any vehicle station. So by overruling these conditions, if any vehicle station here, station means stops here, parks here, thereon will be deemed. If any kind of that action is taken place, that way that those vehicles are deemed to have contravened subsection. So those vehicles are to be considered as not obeying the orders, not obeying the rules. So since not obeying the rules, so and so subsection so and so, according to some so and so subsections of the Motor Vehicle Act, because we have the Act of Motor Vehicle, etc., etc. I saw on many, so etc., etc., they will be penalized. So instead of instructing in a very simple way and making people to understand the concept by placing very simple sentences on the signboards, we Indians also try to place large notice boards on the places where prohibition is implemented, is ordered. Because this kind of lengthy notice boards take much time of the people who want to pass there, because it gives they have to study it, and sometimes after reading all those lines also they don't understand actually what was the intention of the people who who give the instructions. So there leaves a scope of speculation. So instead of that, the American people have instructed in a very simple way. So in this way, R.K. Narayan suggests we Indians also to use very simple language, simple English to make people understand, instead of mentioning the acts, the punishments, the penalties, and the acts, all these things. Instead of just we put a simple sentence, don't walk in this way, in this place, that will lead the people mm, uh, to, to do not walk on the road on the place. And R.K. Narayan also observed, he says that I saw on many American office doors, just do not enter. So when R.K. Narayan visited many offices, he went to offices. If the offices are busy and they are busy with their work, just on their doors, just they put a, a notice, a line like, do not enter. So don't come because we are working, we are very busy. So by seeing that simple sentence, everybody knows that some important work is going on in the office, so we are not permitted to enter into the office. So in this way, the American people, they changed English language in a simple way, uh, where people can understand very easily and to follow the instructions. So in this way, R.K. Narayan presents in his essay that the Americans have freed the language from the tyranny of passive voice. So wherever changes are required, wherever necessity arises, there American people changed the language and very much accessible to common people. But the Britishers, they use more and more passive voice in their language, and that makes people difficult to understand the language. Even our Indian example also, that we also try to give the instructions in a very detailed notice boards that make people not to understand and get confused in understanding those instructions. So Arkin Arendt feels that the language should be easy to understand, easy to read, and easy to follow, but not to, we are not supposed to use decorative language and complicated language, and we should not confuse people in understanding the lines. So in this way, Arkin Narayan presents how Americans have freed their language from the tyranny of formalism that is surrounded with English language. So in this way, R.K. Narayan presents his observations while he was visiting America in 1969 as a visiting professor to an American university. So in our next presentation, we try to continue the explanation part of the lesson by seeing the remaining paragraphs. And so I thank all for listening to the class.